Verbal action. Verbal action is primarily psychological, and we have to supply the physical side of the action. Let me give you an example. To accuse someone, it doesn't tell us what we're doing physically. It only implies that there are circumstances in a psychology that have led to an accusation, or to find out, to cover up, to encourage someone. All of these imply relationships, background, a history. This is what we mean by the psychological side of the action. So we build the circumstances. But most importantly, when you're fulfilling a verbal action, you have to find the physical through line of behavior, the logical sequence of behavior. And this is where all of the previous exercises come in. Concentration, focus of attention, communion with your partners, breath, dissecting of movements, logical sequence and pattern of movement, adaptation. All of these exercises, sense memory, lead to our ability to fulfill a verbal action on stage. How do we apply it? Well, first of all, we build sketched improvisations, structured improvisations. Stanislavski established that building a structured improvisation was very important because a play is structured. What is the structure of an action in a play? Basically, it has a beginning, a middle, and a logical conclusion. Somewhere before the logical conclusion and after the middle, there's going to be a climax. That's part of its dramatic structure. There's going to be two people, perhaps, who meet, and then there's an exploratory period where they're doing reconnaissance. Then the problem presents itself, as Aristotle states in the Poetics. And then the conflict begins, the two logics, the dialogos, the two logics of argument begin in the scene. And that the actors must sustain to a climax. When the climax cannot be sustained anymore, when it's logical to run out of steam, then they must gradually bring it to a logical conclusion. In this way, the actors learn how to do the same thing with a piece of writing. If you take a play, you look at the scene, you name the event of the scene. You always give it a noun or a metaphoric name, such as the breakup, marriage on the rocks, discovery, revelation, whatever it might be. Could even be like the name of a headline, And in this way, you understand what the event is. Then the actors choose their objectives and their counter-objectives, their main action, their counter-action, and all of the verbal and physical steps that lead to the fulfillment of their goal, of their objectives. In this way, they begin to analyze and learn how to analyze a play. How? Through verbal action. So I will say your action today is to blackmail. Your partner will choose a counter-action and not tell you what it's going to be beforehand. All you may discuss are the circumstances of your relationship, enough that you can fulfill the action truthfully without knowing too much. But don't decide on how you're going to do it. Fulfill those physical steps while you're doing it. When we're building a verbal improvisation, we don't want to figure out how it's going to go. We simply want to know the main action, the counteraction, the objective, the counter-objective, the relationship between the characters. Then each of the actors must think of a physical through line of action they want to use as an arsenal against the other so that this battle, this conflict will take place. Then we resolve it in the moment through improvisation. This is how we structure an action, and we call this the verbal improvisation. That's how we use it. Good afternoon. This episode is entitled Verbal Actions, or Applying Psychophysical Technique. What we're going to work with today is moving from silent action to verbal action. So the first improvisations that you're going to do are actually based on communion with a partner and fulfilling an action and a counteraction psychophysically in such a way that words will have to be needed, but you may not speak. Now listen to the structure. The structure of dramatic action for a verbal improvisation is thus. You must start with a zone of justified silence. And be in communion before any words are said in the improvisation when you're doing a verbal improvisation. So to find out and cover up or whatever it is, you mustn't start by speaking, coming on stage and talking. No. There has to be justified silence for a zone, which is much longer than a pause, like a silent improv. And when you and your partner feel that the atmosphere is charged with the given circumstances you've built and you're in communion, then you may go to speech. Before you speak, you must always evaluate, even if it's this fast. And I believe the silent improvs are between 3 and 5 minutes. The verbal improvs are between 5 and 7 minutes. Words needed? Go to speech.
Just pay the rent. Just pay the rent. Just pay the rent.
Well, I'm working on the cleaning part. I went and got Wi-Fi trying to clean. I know you said we had to work on it. I'm sorry.
Okay, good. We can end it here because it was so sweet. Thank you very much.
Switch off the music.
Yeah, good, thank you. That's good. Now stay there for a moment. Okay, this was two roommates not on speaking terms, right? You had the action to annoy. What was Jeff's counteraction? Jess's counteraction. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm calling you Jeff. What was Jess's counteraction part of that?
To ignore.
To ignore him. Did they go about fulfilling the task actively?
Yes.
They did. What did they do to project they were not speaking?
Physically?
Yeah, it's always physical.
Jess was turned away from Jan.
He turned
And he
away.
kept moving away from Jan, and then Jan would keep pursuing him physically on stage.
Okay, he pursued it to annoy him, finding different ways, like throwing his things on the floor, going over and putting things in the bag, cleaning up, straightening up, annoying him, taking his camera, so forth. At that point, when she moved over to the wall and put the book up, I think after that point, words were almost needed. Don't you agree, class? Yeah, and so that's why at that point I thought you get annoyed enough, especially when you picked up his helmet, he would say something. I thought you did a good job in evaluating and using your body to take in what was going on before you speak, because you gave yourself time to really get in touch with, well, what would I say if I were going to say something to him at this point? What we didn't know in the zone of silence in the opening action was why you were not speaking. It has to come through at some point. So like when you came in, you were walking kind of like this. I felt that walk was a little uncomfortable for you, that entering was a little indicative, and that you didn't quite know how you were going to do it. See, you need to think of how while you're doing it. You know, but by not being sure and thinking in the moment, your body had a slightly indicative look to it. I didn't believe the way you came in.
Right.
Did they buy?
No, well, it's not a final deal. Don't you understand?
Okay, no, I don't. Okay, because when you
Okay.
buy something, you buy it, or either you don't buy it. You're telling me they bought it, but
Maybe in the furniture business, but not in the movie business. Okay, it's very complicated. For
Okay.
example, we're not going to be able to put your name for screen credit.
what?
Because that's the way it works. In order to do the deal, they're not going to take an unknown and put your name on as a screenwriter. You'll get money out of it, but you're not going to get any screen credit from it. Carry that. They're just, it's a complicated business. They're not just going to take an unknown person and put a lot of money into it and make a movie out of it. It's not going to happen.
Well, how much did you sell it for?
How much can we get it for? How much can we
No,
get
wait,
for it?
answer-
They didn't offer a final deal, but I
Okay.
think we'll get a significant amount. You'll get at least 50,000, 70,000 out of it.
John, I am asking you a very simple question. Very simple, okay?
Okay, why don't you have something to eat?
No, why don't you listen to me?
Here's a half a muffin. Just carry that. Carry that.
Okay, I'll tell you what's wrong. I wrote that screenplay. You understand me? I have the rights to it. Do
We
you
wrote
understand it?
We wrote it.
All right, fine. We wrote it.
No, this is a
So
big
my
difference.
name appears on that
Well, that's the
screenplay.
problem.
When the
Then it
movie
won't
gets
sell.
made, my name is there. And if it doesn't,
Okay.
it's no go. Do
about-
you understand?
How about some coffee?
I don't want coffee. I want an answer. Did you sell it?
1 minute.
Did you sell it?
Yes, and we'll...
And how much did you sell it for? How much? You don't sell without a price tag, John.
How much do you want for it, Carrie? That? How much do you want?
How
what is going to satisfy?
much did you sell it for? You're
What
trying to
did you
lowball me here. You're not fooling me. How much did you sell it for?
You said you've known me for so long and that I'm straight with you, and why all of a sudden am I not being straight with you?
Because you're fucking hiding something, that's why. You're not fooling me.
I'm not hiding anything. I'm hiding the fact that you come in here. I want you to
Surprise?
No, I want you to listen to me. You come running in here with vodka at 7:30 in the morning.
To
Think about it.
celebrate.
Think. You can celebrate over coffee. We can celebrate over lemonade. Why are we celebrating over vodka? That's the point. Okay,
Okay.
you have to trust
Okay,
in
then
people.
let me
I
make a
can
point.
make us a great deal.
All right, well, let me
Okay?
make a point.
You'll get a nice chunk of change. They'll know who
No,
worked
no,
on the
no,
script.
no.
I mean, you know, I wrote probably more of it than you did, Carrie. That.
Bullshit. I'm the one who came up with the idea. I'm the one
There's
who
a
wrote
lot
the
of
first draft.
ideas out
You
there.
came in
You
with your
can't
expertise.
copyright an idea, Carrie.
Let me just say something.
Everybody's
okay?
got ideas.
I can answer my own question because you know what? You didn't sell a screenplay.
I sold it.
No, you didn't.
And you
because
don't own it.
can't-
I own
You
it.
can't
I own it.
Logical conclusion.
I own it, Carrie Dad.
You can't own it. How did you own it?
Go check the copyright. I own the script. If you want some money, you can have it. That's the way it is, Carrie Dad. I did most of the work on that script. You have a little kernel of an idea, and you can't copyright ideas.
I'll see
You want some vodka?
I'll see
You can have vodka.
I'll see you in court.
That was the first thing. You're supposed to find out, you're supposed to cover up. Did everybody get that? Yeah, I think that was pretty clear. So watch sign. Oh, Caridad, when you started to speak, you hadn't evaluated her enough and you weren't sure what to say. So the first 2 or 3 words or lines that came out of you were not based in communion. But you did, once I said to you both, really, you were already evaluating to some degree physically, but I really wanted you to really listen and evaluate. And when you take the time to think, how would I listen with my body? You got instantly involved in your communion, instantly came together. And Caridad, I thought you took such subtle steps towards each one of towards your objective. One, and you let him feed you what you needed in reacting to each one of them. What you did that was really excellent, that I want to point out, is that you really played off of her. You let her reactions guide you as to what you were going to do next. And that happens when we involve our spine. Because when we go on stage, it's artificial, we don't know all the circumstances as we do in life, our bodies block up. At the moment we think of evaluating with our body, see, our body's always evaluating. Your body's evaluating my voice right now, even the tempo and speed and tone of it. See? So we're always doing a slight wonder, evaluation, decision, gesture, action, gesture, always in life. You just did it.
Are you okay?
I'm sorry I caused such a distraction down there. I'm just so frustrated. You know, I love my brother so much. You know, God, I am so thankful that he has found you.
Oh.
Yeah, something there.
At least you can laugh in the middle of your tears. So cute.
And, oh God,
Why don't you just come and lay
No.
down and let me massage you or
no,
something and you'll
you know what?
relax?
No, it's time. I mean, like every time we all get together, like I know that that something needs to be said, something you need to be told, and I know you don't have any idea what I'm talking about.
I need to be told? Shouldn't the whole family be told?
But you're the only one that I feel like I can talk to actually right now.
Come on, sweetie, you just need to relax. Why don't you just come and lay down?
No.
Come on, you just need a good massage. Just come lie down. Then you can.
Yeah, okay.
Tell everyone.
Okay.
Or you can
Yes.
sit up if you want.
Gosh. Michelle, I really do need to tell you something though. Michelle, my brother.
Relax.
No, I can't. I need to tell you. You need to know something, okay? And I'm sorry if this makes you feel uncomfortable. I found out when I was like 5 years old.
Melinda, you know anything you tell me, I'm just the kind of person who I have to share it with my husband. So are you sure you want to say this?
I think he needs to know, and I don't know how. My brother was adopted. I don't even know if he knows. But I found out when I was like 15 and
He doesn't know he's adopted?
I don't know. The worst thing is
What
that
do you mean you don't know? I don't, what are you talking about? He's
my parents don't even know that I know. And I was looking through my father's stuff when I was about 15. I found out that he was adopted, so...
Have you talked to your parents about this?
No! So I went, and for years I have been researching where he came from, and now...
Mindy,
Look at this information that I just found! No, it's gonna change things, I have to tell you! I have to tell you this! His father died from a disease, a genetic disease. Okay? Marcus is gonna die young. Soon, he has this disease. He was tested for a positive when he was born, and I don't know if that's why his mother decided to give him up for adoption. I don't know. And my parents don't
2
know.
minutes.
It's real, Michelle, and you need to know this, and the information is all here of the 10 years that I've been working on this. It's just, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just want him to die. I know. It's...
you think how am I not supposed to talk to anybody about this?
No, it's you. I'm passing the information on to you now. I'm passing the information
Why
on
did
to
you talk to your parents about this?
Because...
Wait, I don't understand anything of what you just told me. He's gonna die and he doesn't know it. No one knows it but you? What are you talking about? I mean, are you insane? No one knows it but you. You just found this book somewhere.
No, this book is the information of the research that I was doing. And it has
Research for what?
his medical records. It took a long time to try to figure out where his parents were. Who his parents
Show me
were.
where it is, Mindy.
1 minute. You can justify bringing it to a logical conclusion.
Well, why don't you read it to me, please?
It was found that his father died of this disease. Michelle, I just think
Is it
you should
genetic? Is that what you're
Yes,
telling me?
it is. I think I'm giving you this book now, and I want, you're his wife, you're the person that needs.
So how are we gonna tell him then?
And you will both tell him. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Very nice. Ooh, that was a difficult one, wasn't it?
I don't have tears.
Huh? You know, but you can be upset without tears. You know,
It's always been my struggle as an actor is that pressure on stage. Tears don't happen that naturally, so. But
it's interesting
as long as it
because
didn't look too indicated was what I was.
no, it wasn't, because I did notice one thing, and that was that you weren't crying, but you were very upset. But your voice went into a falsetto pitch, and the key could be with your voice. That when it gets caught here, what's happening is, remember I said that if your throat gets caught, you block your emotions?
We went to a higher place, and so I wasn't able to connect with my emotions.
Yeah, because everything
like right
is,
now, I feel more connected.
Yes, this is your voice. Everything is resonance or dissonance. It's resonance or dissonance. I would think you need to focus on your breathing,
Yeah.
on relaxing your shoulders, on bringing your voice so that you feel resonance of voice. When you sing, I bet tears come to your eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, how would I know that? Take a softer, gentler approach and work on your vocal work.
Okay.
And sing your text and get your voice to where it's always, no matter what, it never goes up here.
Okay.
This was much better, Michelle, when you did not speak.
Thank you.
Because you took time. You took time
Everyone
to
says.
take her in. You didn't know. You needed to do reconnaissance. Always go about fulfilling your objective in a circumvent manner if you can. Sometimes people come in and they just do that. That's okay.
Right.
If it's needed in the
Well,
situation.
we had such our backstory was that we had
Kept
there was
changing.
just a big conflict at the
That
dinner
came
table.
through.
So, and I was following her into the room, so that's why I was
Yeah.
instantly initially wanted to say.
But if you saw that she was that upset, you might be a little perturbed that it happened too. I felt that you were on some level, like the second time you came through, I wrote down your body language. I felt your body language was like, okay now, what's all this about? You know, and that's what we needed to see. The subtext of your body, not you hear a dialogue in the beginning. Let us feel what you're feeling before you start to speak. Your counteraction in the beginning was to console her
Well,
or to find out.
it was to console her, and then it was to kind of just relax her and distract her. And then I had a few more counteractions, but she didn't let me get to them
Sure.
because she, blurted out the secret.
And
it
that's
was very
when-
impactful. So,
Good, and what happened then was you had to improvise a reaction.
well, yeah.
Good, that's why we do improv, so
And
that
it
we can
really,
think on our feet.
it totally became so believable for me. It was bizarre.
Yes, then it really came through, because you were struggling against your shock, the possible reality, you went into denial, and you were
Right.
challenging her.
Yeah.
So that was a very, very good adaptation. Very good. I felt that you both had strong images for Marcus. Thank you. Thank you very much. It was
Thanks.
very good.
Thanks.